Hello and welcome back. This is Sunil and I'm here with the update to this course. So in this section I'm going to discuss some of the important MongoDB interview questions that I have covered already in this course, and if not I'm going to discuss that also. So if I have left out some of the concepts, some of the topics in MongoDB, that also I'm going to cover in this interview section. So not to worry if I have missed out some of the concept, we are going to discuss those as well. So let's get started. So very first question that we may be asked in interview is, what is namespace in MongoDB? So as usual, namespace in MongoDB is combination of database name and collection. So when we say collection and database is the combination of namespace. So if you want to refer to some document, we can refer to the namespace using database and collection. So that's why whenever we want to use a collection or query a collection and insert document inside collection, we are using use database name. So we are going to the particular database and there we are seeing the what are the collections available. So here database name and collection. So this user db.users is the namespace here in this case. Okay, so this is the namespace, database name dot collection name, and with this collection we will have all the documents inserted in this. So this way, this is how the namespace is in MongoDB. So one more important question is, list the most important features of MongoDB. So we already know what are the features. Just to revise, I'll tell you that these are the most important features of MongoDB. First thing is, it's a NoSQL database which is having a dynamic query language. It's not a structured query language, it's a dynamic query language. Then the second one is, it's faster than the RDBMS traditional databases like MySQL or Oracle, and it supports agile, and this database MongoDB is highly scalable. And the next thing is, it's very flexible data model because we are using documents, so there is no fixed schema that we are using. It's a schema-less database, so that way it is very flexible data modeling. So it's a flexible data model, it's a faster than traditional database, expressive or dynamic query language, and it supports agile, and it is highly scalable. Okay, it also supports big data. So these are the few important features of MongoDB. Another important question in MongoDB interview is, how to achieve primary key foreign key relationship in MongoDB. So the answer is, by default in MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database, it does not support the primary key foreign key kind of relationship, but we can do this thing by embedding the document inside a document. So suppose we have a document, suppose users document, inside that we can embed a address document. So we can use the embedding of documents to achieve the primary and foreign key relationship. So users document will have the address document embedded in that. In this way we can achieve. So this is the way around to achieve the primary and foreign key relationship in MongoDB. Another important concept is object ID, and in interview we may get one question on this, like what is object ID or what is structure of object ID. So object ID is being generated by MongoDB. It is like a unique identifier for the document we are inserting, and it is getting generated for each document we insert in a collection. So MongoDB will generate automatically for us. Okay, and it is a 12-byte BSON. So it is of BSON type and it is of 12-byte, and it will consist of seconds or the time stamp on which it is being created. So it will have the 4-byte of representing the time, and it will also contain the 2-byte of process ID with which that document is being created or inserted into the collection. It will also contain the 3-byte of counter, and it will also contain the machine identifier on from which machine or from which node it is being created. So it will be the combination of these 4 things of time, process ID, machine ID and counter. So, and that's why it is so unique. Okay. Hello and welcome back. So in this lecture I'm going to discuss 2 important MongoDB interview question. Those are very simple, but we should be knowing. So the first one is, does MongoDB need a lot of RAM, or we need a lot of RAM to run MongoDB server? The answer is no, not at all. MongoDB can be running on a very small amount of RAM, and it also dynamically allocates and deallocates the RAM based on the processes it is running. Okay, so if there are heavy processing going on, it can take RAM required, and it will release the RAM when the processing is done. So it is being done automatically by the MongoDB server. And the next question is, why it is always recommended to deploy MongoDB on 64-bit machines rather than on 32-bit machine? So the reason is because if you go with the 32-bit machine, if you deploy MongoDB server on the 32-bit machine, you will have to restrict your data usage or storage size by 2 gigabytes. You cannot go beyond 2 gigabyte of data size or storage. But if you go with the 64-bit machine, if you deploy your MongoDB server on the 64-bit machine, there is no limit of data usage or storage size. So you can use any number of storage size for your MongoDB data or MongoDB server. Okay, so this is the only reason. See you in the next lecture. Hello and welcome back. So let's discuss 2 more important questions. The first one is, why are MongoDB data files are so large in size? And the second one is, when should we embed one document within another document in MongoDB? So let's discuss the first one first. Why are MongoDB data files large in size? So MongoDB reserves the space, and it is what it does, it pre-allocates the data files. So it pre-allocates the data files to reserve the space, and that's why the data file size are large in most of the cases. And why it does that? To avoid the file system fragmentation when you set up the server. So it pre-assumes that you need not to do the fragmentation of your file system when you start setting up your MongoDB, and that's the reason it pre-allocates the data files in with the extra space or reserve space so that you can accommodate more data. Okay, so that's the reason. And the second question is, when should we embed one document within another document in MongoDB, or why should we embed the documents in MongoDB? So the answer is, the first one is, we should do this to achieve the relationship between the entities, like primary key and foreign key relationships. And the second one is, we need to achieve the one-to-many relationship or one-to-many relationship. So when we want to achieve one-to-many relationship, we need to embed the documents with each other. And the one more important region for this embedding documents is performance region. So when we embed the documents within, we achieve more performance. We do the performance, we do the transaction, we do the operations more rapidly, and it is highly advisable to embed the documents. So there are three regions. When we want to achieve the relationship between the entities, we want to achieve the one-to-many relationship, and the most important region is performance. Okay.